Ooh, and it feels great to be back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the new episode of Geeks on the Roundtable, but with a new twist. Today, we are starting our brand new gaming book club. I know it's a very original idea, but what the idea is of this, book club is actually just, the three of us, we play a game, and then we, sit every month and talk about it, kind of like a book club, but with games. And this month's game is none other than Alien Isolation. Made by Creative Assembly, a first-person alien horror game, which some might say is the best alien game ever made. Well, we played it from start to finish, and this episode came at around a great time. Alien Romulus released on digital a week ago, and Alien Isolation 2 got announced. So we're very excited. And yeah, let's jump right into it. I have a few questions for my fellow co-hosts, Boyd and Sorcerer Rogier, and of course Wesley and Spirits. But without further ado, let's get started. All right, guys. So, Alien Isolation. We started with that game. We had a meeting about it. So what were your initial thoughts when you started playing the game? And did it kind of meet your expectations as well? Boyd, take it away.
Right, so thank you. So first of all, I have played Alien Isolation back when it came out. So I did have experience with the game. I didn't finish it though. So first, response when you guys said oh, let's play Alien Isolation. It was both that game is great, and I also felt the frustration back. What I felt back then. So I have mixed opinions when I began the game, but the game gets so good, so great. The aesthetics, the style, the vibe, everything is just 100% Alien, and it just feels great. And I think the opening few hours are the best of the game, if not one of the best opening hours of any survival horror game out there. So that's a great compliment regarding the game. It does change while I'm playing the game. Further along I get, the more it changes. But you're asking about the initial response. Yeah, awesome game. And even now, I think it was a 360 game back then, or is it PS4 already?
Yeah, no, it was a cross-gen. It came out on PS3, Xbox 360, PS4, and Xbox One, but now it's available on everything. It's even available on iPhone, Nintendo Switch. So yeah, it's on everything.
So I did play it back in the day on Xbox 360. And it looked great. It looked awesome for back in the time. And I played it on the Series X this time, and it runs so smoothly, 60 FPS, steady 60 FPS. It's to be expected, of course, but it looks great. Still, you see in some of the facial expressions, really, when you're looking closely at the cutscenes, it doesn't really look up to snuff today, for today's standards, but that's not fair. It's not fair to compare those cutscenes with today. It's just a huge compliment for the game that it looks great, more than passable for 2024.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a game that came out a decade ago. Exactly. But hey, thank you very much. But here, what were your initial thoughts? Did you play the game beforehand?
No, I never did. I've heard about it. I saw some reviews, I read some reviews, but it never. Never got me. I wanted to play it. I was much more fan of the movies, and I wanted to keep that memory more intact. But it was a great chance to go and play it. I had already had it on Epic Game Store, so I didn't have to buy it. So that was a bit of luck on my end. I played it on PC in glorious ultra wide, so that made the experience that much more better. I think also the 60 FPS, but that's to be expected from an older game. My first impressions were that it's very, how do you say it? True to the movies. It's very detailed in the atmosphere, the sounds, the details you see in the computer systems, in the weapons, everything. So it gave me immediately very creepy vibes, you know. The first steps you said in what was called Sevastopol, it's immediately eerie, and I really liked that. So it got me immediately. So it was very good.
Right.
What also got me were the incredibly ugly cutscenes, and I think it's even ugly for the 2014, 15.
Yeah.
I don't remember when it came out, but even for that standards, it was fucking ugly. Like, it was. It's 10 FPS for some reason. Like, it's really glitchy. There's no detail. I don't know. It was really strange.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I get that. Absolutely. Because the cutscenes were very much. I remember it more fondly in my head than seeing it now. They were really rough around the edges. I personally played the game on Xbox Series X, just like Boyd. So for me, it was not as not as bad as for you, maybe. But yeah, though, like you said, though, the way the game starts with kind of like that cassette futurism, where it's like the old computers, but it's supposed to be super high tech. I love that. I love that kind of stuff, and the way it starts, so much love has been put into that, and because like especially that first movie, like a lot of the games before this, like were very focused on Aliens, the sequel. So having a game that's focused on the first one is really cool to see. And I honestly, like, I don't want to get ahead of myself or ourselves here, but I do really hope they kind of keep that magic for the second one that they're currently making. Yeah, but nothing beats like you two guys said, like entering Sevastopol Station for the first time, seeing how everything went to shit. Like, excuse my French, but also like me in the back of my head, I was like, "Get the hell out of there!"
Yeah, I mean, you know what's going on there. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It's like watching a horror. It's watching like watching a horror movie, just yelling at the main guy, like, "Get the fuck out of the house!"
Oh yeah, or like a completely different.
Both you guys mentioned the computers, and I think it's very interesting because I thought it was very cool that they integrated these elements in the gameplay, it's really cool. I love it when developers do that. Like, the save stations you have, like with the old cassette, and you have to wait a few seconds, and it's
floppy disks, yeah.
Like it's awesome. Like it completely it envelops you in just that world for a moment, and
absolutely.
These cutscenes, like, they take you away from that world, like, immediately. Like when the cutscenes started, I was like, okay, like, let's
relax.
I think it's a few cutscenes. I think it's like 2 or 3. But yeah, they're really bad. Yeah.
I remember the cutscene with the bald guy, Axel or something like that. It looked like a British football hooligan for some reason, like with the wide eyes, like he was totally mental. It took me out of the moment, and he died pretty quickly after. So it's fine. But that took, like you said, boy, it took me out of it pretty quickly. Like, all right.
No, I can definitely understand that. Funny you should mention like the computers being integrated within the gameplay, because that was actually my follow-up question for you guys. What did you guys think of the gameplay and its mechanics? Did you think it was intuitive, or did you think it was challenging to some part? Because if I'm going to be completely honest, I really love the fact that you are being dragged into this world and into the scenario of having to use the computers, use like the save stations, use everything around you, because that makes you feel like you're part of like the movie. Like, I really did feel like a person within the station, thinking like, okay, how am I going to get out of here? But that just, the gameplay doesn't only involve the computers. It involves our very favorite xenomorph. So, who would like to take this one?
Yeah, I'll go. I really loved the gameplay up to a certain part. I love the sneaking. It's very well done. The xenomorph does notice you really quickly, but that's to be expected from the xenomorph, of course, as a perfect being. So I like that part. I like the like using the computers. I like the weapons that you can shoot, but it's really optional to do. I think you can sneak past most of the encounters. So that was cool. I like that you can gather different things, and it's a bit of a puzzle throughout the levels. What I didn't like is that every level or chapter, it's maybe a better word, feels a bit repetitive, if you know what I mean. So every part is like you go, it's a bit easy, you walk through it, there's nothing much going on, maybe you have an encounter, and then it builds up, and the xenomorph gets there, and you'll have to sneak around it and play that part. And every chapter is the same. So that was, I didn't. Well, yeah, many games do that, but I didn't like that very much.
So I do agree with Rogi here, and I think that's due to the game being way too long. Like, if the game was like 8 to 9 hours, like, you wouldn't notice that, but it took me like 22 hours to complete the game, which is one of my pet peeves. Like, it's one of my, most negative things about the game, but I'll get to that later. I think that has to do with that. I think for today's standard, the gameplay is like what you can expect from a survival horror game, but like the xenomorph is the show stealer. Like, there's no debate about that. Like the AI they implemented for that beast, like it's astounding. Even for 2024, like you don't see that kind of AI often. Like it tricks you, it surprises you, and it can really do stuff like 15 hours in, and you're like, oh, he can do that. Like 15 hours in, and he's like perched on one of the lockers you're hiding in. You're getting out, and he's above the locker. Like, I had that one. It was like awesome. Like, oh, he can do that. Like, I didn't know that, and I think that's insane. Like, I think if the AI wasn't as good, I don't think this game would have been that good. Like, that's really.
I fully agree, and I do think that the AI being as good is really like you said, the show stealer for this game. I do also think like the xenomorph is like, once you get to know it, you can get around it pretty easily. Like, there's not, like, of course it's not perfect, and there's going to be like loopholes. So like you could crouch, and there's like behind some boxes, and you can play Ring Around the Rosie with him. But that gets you even like later moments, because I have moments where I was like, okay, I'm not gonna hide in lockers because he's gonna find out that I'm gonna be in lockers all the time. Yeah. So I'm just gonna like play Ring Around the Rosie, and then I did that for like 10 minutes once. I was like, get him the hell out of here. So
because like what you're saying, like that's the thing with horror games. Once you find out the game mechanics, it stops being scary. And I had that around hour 10. I understood the game mechanics, and I also understood that the game isn't about hiding. It's about walking, not running, walking as fast from point A to Z. Like, once I found that out, like, just keep moving. Like, the longer you are in the area, the more difficult it gets. And you can walk. Like, he won't spot you if you're walking. Like, okay, if he's really close, he will spot you. But like, if you just walk in a corridor, he's not going to notice you. And never run. Like, once I found that out, and that really took me out of the game from a certain point. But from a gameplay perspective, if we're going to focus on that, I think it's fairly solid. One negative about the gameplay I have is that you are locked in animations. So once you're doing something with a door, or you're losing your torch, or you're using whatever, and I hear the xenomorph coming, I cannot cancel that animation. Like, I cannot run away, and it's really frustrating when it happens, because it feels cheap death, because I felt like I could have escaped, or I could have hidden, but the game didn't let me. So that really frustrated me.
I definitely know what you mean in that sense, because that's why I skipped a lot of like the things that like using the torch, for example, or using the computers, or playing that little Seegson like mini game where you can like turn off the air filters or do anything else, because I'm just going to be animation locked for a few seconds. But that being said, you actually did answer one of my other questions. Like, did you discover any unique strategies or like play styles for the game? And for you, it was walking. For me, it was very much like stay crouched, and when you can walk, walk. But like you said, never run, because that's when you'll get you. Rogier, what about you?
Mostly crouching. I think you can crouch through the entire game and almost never get caught.
Yeah. Oh,
the back pain Amanda must have like
she must have
some strong legs.
She has massive legs, you know.
like
these massive
the whole
calves.
Game is like a 25-hour like leg day session. That's like crazy. But
it's like Joel in The Last of Us. I crouched the entire game.
Yes, but like one other strategy that I found myself was avoiding air vents. So like any like vents or like the things, because you can see him drool. Or like, and that's where he'll be waiting for you. There was like one moment.
That's something I found out after 15 hours. Like I was completely lucky, and at some point he got me, and I saw the drool. I was like, oh shit. Oh,
so I don't know if it was my TV. I think it was my TV, but I couldn't see the drool
really
on this version. Like, I think it was the HDR or the OLED or something, but something in the colors. Like,
it must be.
That sucks
because I saw it.
Yeah, I couldn't see it. Like I knew it was there because I played it back then. So
I've been dying to tell you guys this. So like there was this moment. You sent a clip of this boy where you like turned on the generator and you were like walking to the other one and he got you up there. Like I passed that point. I was like, okay, so I see him drooling on one side. I see him drooling on the other. I'll just wait till it's gone, and it's gone. I think, okay, perfect. I was walking, I literally turned around and I said out loud, ha, got your ass, and then he got me like a second.
Nice.
Oh man, that was like creepy. But the AI that it reminds me of most is actually Mr. X from Resident Evil 2, because that's also like a stalker character. Yeah, exactly, the remake one, because that's also like a very much a stalker character. But I think the Xenomorph is still more impressive. Just because like Mr. X goes away, depending on the campaign that you play, goes away for a while and then comes back, and just kind of like whatever you shoot, oh yeah, he's right there. Kind of with the Alien, but I do feel like it's a little different. But like, the game is like, there's also something else to the gameplay, and that is the story. So what did you guys think of the story? Because I'm a big fan of like the whole franchise. Like I love Alien and Aliens and Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Hell, even Prometheus and Covenant. I love those movies. Alien 3, I like a lot. We do not speak about Alien Resurrection in this household. Yeah, so I did think the story was pretty interesting. But having read the novel that came along with it does really add to it. So I was just wondering, for you guys, you probably didn't read the book.
No.
What did you think?
Well, for me, like,
Sorry.
No problem. I don't watch the Alien movies for the story. Like, the lore is great. I think some of the characters are great, but not because of their interesting stories, because they're badass, and the Xenomorph is badass, and like the H.R. Geiger style is just, out of this world.
Yeah.
So I didn't care about the story in this game. I thought Amanda Ripley was okay. Yeah, it's definitely a character you play with. I didn't feel like very invested in her. The characters I met were like paper thin. Like what you said, I don't even know the bald guy's name, and he was like, okay, he's gonna die, immediately. So
yeah,
I didn't really care about the story itself. Yeah, wasn't invested. Didn't really read the notes because like didn't really care. Sorry.
Well, I get that. I don't think you play this for really for the story, unless you're a big fan. But like you said, Benjamin,
sense.
I think you read the comics or the novel beside the game to
Yeah.
really get into the story. The only thing interesting that was a man that was called Ripley, and that's the whole clue of her character, I think, because she's really, really bland. Besides that, she wants to get the recording from her mother,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
very logical that you want to hear that, of course. Well, I liked it, but it was together with the game, it was dragged out too much.
Yeah.
But it's like asking, like, what do you think about the story of Dead Space? Like, you don't play these games for like their great stories. I think.
Okay. See, the entire story for Isolation is get that recording, and it changes to get the fuck from the ship, combined with get the xenomorph out. So it's really small part, and it's stretched over this enormous 20-hour experience in horror, which consists mostly of sneaking, crouching, and getting away from the xenomorph. So it's too much. It was fun, but a bit too much to my taste.
Yeah, I would agree in terms of like it being too long. I think it, like Boyd said earlier, if it was like 8 to 9 hours, it would have been
So much better.
fine. I think it would have been much more effective.
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched Aliens, it does take away from like the tension of this game, because in Aliens you find out that Amanda just dies of old age, so it's like, oh yeah, she's got to make it.
Doesn't she
So
die
it's
of,
like-
yeah? Doesn't she die of cancer or something?
Oh, maybe something, or either cancer or like old age. At least she like not
Yeah.
any like alien type of.
I'm really surprised about that, because that doesn't, like, I don't want to go straight to the ending, but I didn't get that impression from the ending at all from this game.
Yeah.
No,
So
I get that.
Definitely, yeah. But like, besides like the story, like, were there any like moments or like, was there a plot twist, Boyd, that got you? That stood out to you, or were
it
there any
wasn't a
vision?
plot twist. Like, my annoyance wasn't that it was a plot twist. It was just fucking cheap. Okay, so
We're gonna. Yeah, we should have said this at the beginning, but spoilers for Alien Isolation.
10-year-old game, man. Okay.
Yeah.
What the
It's
fuck?
a 10-year-old game.
All right.
So I didn't expect face huggers. I didn't expect them. So I was like, I was grabbed by it, and like, they're face huggers. All right, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I think that was a great twist to bring in the game, and it was very late, so it was like a great addition to. They should have done that more with other stuff, but it was like a great twist in the gameplay. But story-wise,
Yeah. And
Really?
like maybe visually, was there something visually that stood out to you? Because
like the spacewalks, visually were incredible. They're incredibly slow, but like they're great to watch.
yeah,
But most of the plot twists in the story were more like artificial barriers for me. Like, now the generator stops working. Oh, now I have to go to another room, and then no, and that room cannot be opened. Oh, now I have to get a key card. That's the entire game. Like at the end. So for me, it was just noise at some point. Like the story, I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
about that.
after a while you're gonna be like, okay, what's gonna go wrong now? Where do I have to go now?
Yeah.
Well, that was
Yeah.
a point that I wrote down actually, because at some point, I think the second half of the game, everything goes wrong. Every door
what I-
is locked, and every electrical generator fails the second you turn it on. It was a drag. And it was what stood out was, in a negative way, was that things go wrong, sure, in a space station that is crashing, but everything, it was too much. At some point I was playing, and I think that's what drags the game out for too long. I'm going to turn this on. Yes,
Yeah.
it fails. All right, okay, I'm going to go to that door. Ah, sure, it's locked now.
Yeah,
I'm going back.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure, all right. Hey, the alien, all right. So it became a bit of a drag. So.
Yeah, and even like at the end when you're back in the Torrens and you're in the spacesuit and you're want to go through like a door to like go to your other crewmates. The xenomorph is also there. You're like, God damn it! Is there like, is this woman ever gonna rest? Like, no wonder she dies at such a young age to like stress and like whatever. Because holy
catch a
fucking
break.
shit! Like she's gonna do the laundry and like a xenomorph pops out of like. It's crazy. Like she's gonna open up like a, she's gonna open up an Amazon package and it's like, no, but
the straw that broke the camel's back for me, like, was really that moment, like you were laughing about, but I was like done with the game when you grabbed the spacesuit for the first time, and I thought we fell, but we were apparently dragged, but and you land somewhere with face huggers, and I was like, oh my god! I was like, oh, finally, I can complete the game, and then I had to do another other section of the same, and oh my god! And I was like, I was playing annoyed by that point. I wasn't even paying attention to the game. I was like, I just want to finish this.
Yeah, that's really the thing. Yeah.
So, and I'm sounding very negative right now. But
I get it.
I love the game, but like this is such such a. I hope they don't think like with Alien Isolation, like, oh, we have to make it even bigger. You know, we have to make it even longer, like, because we have to.
I think essentially what I don't know what the production was like at Creative Assembly or like the full details, but I feel like they weren't sure if they were gonna make a sequel, so they kind of put all their eggs in one basket, and then the game performed poorly with like the IGN reviews and like other reviews that came out, and then it built up a cult following to where it sold so much over time. It got out, and now we're getting a sequel finally. We got a pseudo sequel with Alien Blackout on iOS, but that's not canon anymore because you can't play that game anymore. But back to the initial question about what visuals stood out. Like for me, it was really the nest. When you come in, when you go down, with that nest, that was beautiful. But like, how would you rate the game's art style, or like maybe to some degree even the graphics, overall? Like besides the cutscenes that we talked about, how would you guys say Alien Isolation looked in general?
Overall,
I
would give it a solid 8 out of 10. I mean, even for today's standards, it's really detailed, and I like that. Like you see the cables really go into the ceiling and not just sticked on the wall or something. So it really has a 3D effect. It really looked like the movie. It was I like that, and the graphics further were okay, I guess.
Yeah. It was very cohesive. Like every square centimeter was filled with like alien stuff. Like no room looked wrong. You know what he says? Like you could follow cables and they go in the ceiling or something like that. You know, every room has a purpose. And if you look really right, you have like Easter eggs everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. And it's you see that the developers had a real love for the franchise, and I think that love was a bit too big. Like what Bayman says, like they put too many eggs in one basket, and you know, everyone who has ever run a project, you need to have restraint, you need to have borders, and you need to have like, okay guys, like let's take a foot on the brake, you know, take the foot off the gas. And but I think graphically solid 8. Some points I'd even say a 9. Like some scenes, like they were really.
What do you think,
What about you, Bayman?
Oh, I think it's beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Like, of course, besides the cutscenes, yes, of course. But the game is also beautiful to hear. Yes. No, I always think of like that first moment when you walk in the when you enter Sevastopol, but even the Torrens, like you feel like you're in the Nostromo. I haven't played the DLC yet, but I do plan on doing that later this month because they're short and it's like an objective, like escape the final sequence of the first movie. So I'm really curious about that. But yeah, besides that, the game looks great. I would also give it like a solid 8 or 9 out of 10, just for that. But what really added for me were like the sound effects and some of the music. Even they just recently released the full soundtrack on Apple Music, Spotify, and all that fun jazz. I really recommend you guys give it a listen because it's very. At moments you feel like, oh, it's plucked straight out of the movie. So now my question for you guys is: did the sound effects and or the music even like add to the experience of the game?
Oh, 100%. Like, like the audio in this game is insanely good. Like, if you play this game with a headset on, amazing. Like you can literally you listen and know what a xenomorph is, and I love that about games. If the spatial audio is good, like it adds so much to a game. Like I didn't play it yet, but Silent Hill 2 also has like people who have played it, and they say you have to play it with a headset because it's a totally different game. And the same goes for Alien Isolation. Like, it's really great, and you know, I can't add any more than that. It's just great.
All right.
Well, I can't add it. Sorry, can't add anything to it. Totally agree.
Nice. Yeah, and I do also think like the sound really helps with progressing through the game, because the game can be challenging if you play it with like either like without like the right setup or without listening very well, because like you can hear when the alien is in the vents, you can hear when it's like coming for your ass, and all that kind of stuff. But did you guys find the game challenging? And how do you? And if so, what was challenging about it? And if not, what wasn't challenging about the game?
I did not think it was much challenging. I did die a couple of times, but that was more out of I don't know, irritating mechanics. I mean, the facehugger came out of some boxes and instantly jumps, so that got me a few times in a row. So that was, and I got to a part where I got like 2 bullets for, I don't know, 5 facehuggers, a bit at the end where you have to crouch, and I had to slam him in the right way or else I died. So
you died,
that was a bit annoying. So beside that, no, I did not really think it was that difficult. Both called it. If you do know the mechanic, you can pretty easily crouch, run, walk around the xenomorph with some clever hiding.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with that, and for me the challenge lied in cheap death, like animation, lack of animation canceling, but also a few times that the xenomorph would just land in front of me. Like I was just beginning a scene, like I think it was chapter 2 or chapter 3, and I just started that scene, the level, and it was like I put down my controller to get a drink, like for 3 seconds, I put down, took a drink, xenomorph, and right in my face, dead. You know, and I was like, okay, could have warned me. Like, it wasn't really.
Xenomorph just as when you're drinking, man. How dare you stay hydrated?
Exactly.
I mean, it took you by surprise, yeah.
But I don't mind dying in a game, like at all. Like it's a learning experience, but it has to be an earned death. Like if it's a cheap death like this, like I get really annoyed and I just get distant from a game. Like from a certain point, like the game isn't hard. It has artificial difficulty. And what Rogi says about the facehuggers, I had more difficulty with the facehuggers than with the xenomorph.
Oh yeah,
because they were like, I was like, you hear them coming like 1-2 seconds before they strike, and I'm like, oh fuck, where are they? And you know, okay, you have a mouse and keyboard, so you can turn around really fast. I had to do it with a controller. Like you cannot turn around fast enough if they're in your back. So
they have like a really precise hitbox. I noticed. So if you shoot like an inch to the left or right, it still gets you.
Well, your reticle is very big in this game. Like your shooting reticle, like it's really big. So like it's not really possible to precisely aim. Yeah, so that's difficult as well.
I do want
to. Sorry.
Oh no! I was sorry for interrupting you. I do wonder like what it was like to be like a fly on the wall when you guys were playing, because I think we all had like a different experience. Because I didn't have as much trouble with the facehuggers. Yes, they were cheap sometimes, but I did like have, like of course in the beginning, some trouble with the alien, and especially when there's like human characters, because those are very annoying. But what I did is I let the alien take care of them.
Yeah,
like I read that a lot. I read that a lot about the human enemies, and I never had any difficulty with them. Like once, like, and I met like 3 of them, like 4 maybe, and I just snuck by them, and they weren't a threat to me at all. So,
Really?
like, yeah, so that's really really interesting. Like,
Oh, I
so,
had like a hard time with the first encounter. Like it's with the
Oh,
two
yeah.
balconies where you have to sneak past them, and they
Oh,
were
yeah.
on my fucking ass the entire time. It took me so
Yeah.
long to get past them.
That was a really
Yeah.
annoying part. But like there was I think it was a couple chapters after that where you uh like where there's like where you're in like a hospital bay-ish
Oh, yeah,
area,
yeah.
and there's also like human enemies in there, and I'm like, fuck, how do I get out? How do I get past? And they start shooting at me, so I hide naturally because I hear the xenomorph coming, and I'm like, wait, so if he kills them, that means they're gone. So I'm like, okay, hey, it's my friend. The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
So I let him take care of them, and you can hear like those humans be scared. So that was fun. And once they were gone, I was like, save, and then I continued playing from there because I was not gonna handle them. But like you said, okay, we gotta wrap it up. I do have one more question, and this is much more in regards to the progression of the game. Well, the game does not have any leveling or any. It doesn't necessarily have skill trees. It does have like upgrades, like the ion torch that you can upgrade to like the next level, or find different blueprints for your accessories such as flashbangs and the mines. How did you think the game handled that? What was your experience with that?
Some of the items were much more useful than others, I think, and that
Agreed.
progressed through the game. So I don't know if you've used much of the noise items or the like the beeper that you can throw. I've used it maybe once. Thought it was really fucking useless. Never used the flare in the game. Like those items were really really terrible. Others like grenades were freaking great.
oh
The
yeah,
EMP grenade. I mean, you have some parts with the Joes. One grenade done. Right, let's go. And you can run right past them like they're boogieing there electrically.
The EMP grenade. Yeah. Nice.
So I did think it was quite okay, but some of the items were useless from the start. So there are no blueprints that could have made them better. But it was fine. It gave some sort of feeling of progression, I think.
Nice. Boys?
it was really neat, and you really had to, think about how you use your resources, because these resources can be used on multiple items. Like, I really thought it was great. I think it was a neat system. I wouldn't say unique, but it was like unique enough that it feels a part of that world.
Yeah.
And I loved that. Like, even that part felt like an Alien movie. Loved it. I mostly used it for like health packs.
Yeah.
I forgot the name from
Medkits,
them. Like
right?
health pack,
The-
medkits. Yeah,
The CJ injectors. Yeah. Oh, that's
Like,
that's
and I
a
was-
part,
and I-
name of the item. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. I was really like, I was pretty trigger happy. I loved that part with the Joes that break down the door. Like at one point, like 5 or 6 Joes, and I was like, oh, I was born ready, because I was like max bullets and I had EMP grenades. And I was like, that's fucking, I'm gonna fuck you up,
Nice,
It was the
yeah.
scary part, like. So yeah, but what Rogier says, like there were a few items like the flares, like who uses the flares? Like honestly, I want to know, because I don't see any usage, like any use case for them.
Oh.
But the grenades were awesome, and also the flash. Yeah, you use the flares. I want to know why.
Sometimes I use it to distract the alien because it runs to the flare. And
Oh.
also with the noisemaker. Like if I saw some enemies, chuck the
What?
noise.
Why does it
Check
run
the
to a
noise.
flare if it's scared of fire?
It's not. It's more of the. It's more. I think it's more of the.
Oh, this is a skill
what?
issue from me. But every time I try to throw something from a hiding place, it would just bounce off the edge.
It
of
happened to
whatever
me
I was hiding.
once.
And I
It
was
happened
like,
to me once.
like fuck this shit. I'm not even gonna try this, because I died like
I've
so
got
many
blown to
times.
pieces sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried to throw a grenade through a window from a balcony to some humans, and it pop pop. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Great.
Yeah, no. I use it like sometimes, not all the times. Like whenever I could just avoid the xenomorph, or when I really had to, especially when my flamethrower was running out of ammo. I mainly used that, but otherwise I try to walk around him because I didn't want it to get to know me too well. So in case I really needed to use them, I did, and I could. So that was honestly for me like a great experience. I almost never used a revolver. Almost never used my gun. Yeah, like I only used the shotguns for the working Joes when they came in, like when they came down, and I think when the alien was like gone after like the 8th chapter or something, when you were locked, when the marshal locked you.
Oh,
but even then, I used the stun baton a lot.
How did you deal with the humans that came looking for you in the metro? Like you have this part.
Oh, I hid in the locker. They never look.
Oh, really? They did.
They walk away.
They found. Oh, really? I shot them all. Like it took me like 3 times, but I just headshotted them with my revolver.
Oh no! I hid in the locker. Like the one they come like it happened where they killed me the first time because I didn't know what was gonna happen. Then I was like, what if I just hide? I hid in the locker, and they were gone.
What happened to me is that these guys, if I hid, like these guys would just keep waiting on the stairs, like for 5 minutes.
Really?
I was like, yeah, like, and I was like, okay, then I just have to, and then I started blasting.
Yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
Right.
No, I started that. I think I started like calling the train, and then I hid.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And then they just went away after a while, talking about, we're gonna blast that alien. It's gonna come looking for me. Yeah, and then that kind of happens.
Yeah, in the background, it's me, Pimp, walking into the metro.
Yeah, like Bender in Futurama. Shut up, baby. I know.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but what we also know is that this episode is coming to an end right now, guys. So it's but it was a good time. So overall, final thoughts. Give it to me in a few sentences, and let's finish this baby up.
Right, the game was really, really great. Stealth was great. The setting was great, but the game was way too freaking long. They have had to cut it for 8 hours for it to be a near masterpiece, I think, because it was really, really good.
Yeah,
like I agree with that. The only game I've seen that has been dragged this much down by its length is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Like that's the game I immediately think of. Like it was way too long and way too little content,
variety,
like content, variety in your content to justify its length. Yeah. And I agree.
Yeah. Perfect alien experience for me. I really felt like I was in the in this Sevastopol, in that universe, trying to survive that thing. But again, way too long, and I do hope that they end up executing on some other ideas, because I heard they wanted to do the Alien Queen as well, but they just didn't have time. So we would have seen the Alien Queen now as well. So maybe in the second one.
Next game.
So I'm very curious about that. But this that being said, this is gonna wrap the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed this format. If you have any tips, let us know, and we will apply those. And this has Benjamin from Geeks to the Roundtable. That was Boyd from Geeks to the Roundtable, and that was Sorcerer Rogier from Geeks to the Roundtable. Thank you so much. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, leave a comment, ring the bell, and have a wonderful day, night, whenever you're listening.
Thank you for listening.
Au revoir.
Adios.